Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds his newborn isn't his. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. To sum it up, I, 34 male, recently discovered that my soon-to-be ex-wife, 32 female, was involved with another man for roughly a year, possibly even longer. The specifics are vague because my wife's kept her lips sealed about the other man's identity. What I'm aware of is that she has been lying and sneaking behind everyone's backs, and a DNA test has revealed that our 1-month-old is not biologically mine. I'm not entirely certain about how she got herself into this mess, but seems like her brilliant plan was to stick the baby on me and have me raise it. Obviously, I'm in shock, and I feel like I've lost everything in life. I believed I was going to be a father, and I spent months bonding with this baby. She refuses to acknowledge any responsibility and blames me for her affair. Regardless, I'm moving forward with the divorce. I do not want to see her or the baby, but I also haven't moved out because my lawyer insists it'll not look good in court. She's begun to leave the baby home since last week, thinking I'll spend time with her, but every time I've called a sitter in and left the baby with the sitter. Every time I did that, I have come home at night to a screaming match with my soon-to-be ex, saying things like, what kind of degenerate would do this to a baby? But I refuse to take any responsibility. I did not create this child with her. Babysitting this child should not be my responsibility. It's like someone has torn my whole being apart, leaving me feeling empty. I try to put on a brave face in front of her because I do not want her to see how fragile I am on the inside. I'm trying to suppress my emotions at work. I'm hesitant to share my true feelings with friends out of fear of judgment, and I feel like I'm barely holding it together and can't endure this any longer. I don't want to be the one who's suffering. Why should I be the one to suffer when I've done nothing wrong? My soon-to-be ex seems to have suffered no consequences. Her family's on her side, and she's still living in our house with her kid as if nothing happened. Sorry if this made no sense. This was the most coherent version I could come up with. Edit. I saw a message on her iWatch while she was in labor. It was from the other man asking if she delivered his daughter safe yet. I read through some of the messages, and immediately after that I left the hospital. I refused to see her or the baby in the hospital and had the documents for a DNA test ready when they came home. She and her family kept calling me everything under the sun, but when the results came, they shut up. We haven't registered her birth yet since everything is slow due to the global situation, so I haven't signed any birth certificate. Update. Yesterday, I gave the divorce papers to my soon-to-be ex-wife. I could hear her silently crying most of the night. I do not feel anything. I don't feel any sympathy for her, nor sadness for what my life has become, nor happy that I won't have to be burdened by a child that's not mine. I feel empty, like some shell. I plan to continue with therapy, though I'm skeptical about its effectiveness. 5 weeks ago, I thought I had it all. A beautiful wife, a daughter that I'd soon hold in my arms, a nice career. The future seemed bright and promising, and I looked forward to every moment of it with my family. Now I have nothing. Every moment I'm breathing and alive feels painful. I can't sleep because I remember the feeling of seeing her moving and kicking on the ultrasound. I remember building the nursery for her and buying her the crib. I'm attempting to continue fighting to get better, even though I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. Perhaps I'll need to take some time off due to my inability to concentrate. I apologize if this feels overwhelming. I simply needed to vent. I just need some hope to keep pushing forward. Now for some comments. I'm so sorry you're going through this. You've been betrayed in one of the worst ways imaginable, and I hope your soon-to-be ex gets run over by a bus. Keep reminding yourself that none of this is your fault. You're doing the right thing by seeking therapy and trying to process everything. It's perfectly normal to feel numb and empty after such a betrayal. It's perfectly all right that you don't feel any affection toward a child that isn't biologically yours. Keep following your lawyer's advice and make sure you protect your assets during the divorce. Therapy can be a great help, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Healing takes time, and it's okay to feel lost and hopeless for a while. Just know that you're taking steps in the right direction, and eventually you will find peace and happiness again. Man, this is such a brutal situation. I'm really sorry you're having to deal with all this. You did the right thing by getting the DNA test and standing up for yourself. It's completely understandable that you don't want to take responsibility for the baby, given everything that's happened. Your ex and her family blaming you is just adding insult to injury. They can kick rocks. Therapy would help massively, though it feels useless now. Try to stay strong and take care of yourself. Stay hopeful and take it one day at a time. Story 2. My wife of 14 years and I had a rocky start to this year. She kept bringing up divorce in times of anger and in times of jest. I played it off initially, but confronted it after a month. We made some agreements on chores, time together, etc. She says she was still suffering from postpartum depression. Youngest was 3 years, and I fully admitted my job, shift work, and a mild addiction to video games got in the way of our happiness and promised to curtail the impact of both. Over the past few months, I've seen a decrease in angry outbursts from her, so I thought things were heading in the right direction. I was doing more chores, helping with the kids, gaming only when I was alone. A few weeks ago, she starts pulling away from me whenever I go to kiss or hug her. When I confront her, she says that she's fallen out of love with me and does not even want to be in the same room with me. She has suddenly scheduled her life so that we rarely cross paths physically. She has asked for a separation. I'm heartbroken and unsure what to do. I know that I want us to stay together and recognize the need for change in our lives, but what does that matter if she shuts me down every time we talk? Currently, we're in a holding pattern with neither of us making any decisions without the other agreeing. I've gotten her to agree to couple counseling, but I feel I should be doing more. Update. A few Redditors said she was having an affair, and as it turns out, they were right. I found out after overhearing a phone conversation. I confronted her. I left the house, but came back. My children still need me. 3 days I suffered so much rage, despair, and desperation. We didn't have much interaction, but on the third night, she tells me she wants to work on us. My heart lifts, and I know peace for 2 days. As my emotions subside, logic steps in. She is still acting suspicious, laughing at texts and brushing off my queries, taking phone conversations outside away from me. Opportunity allows me to see one of her text messages with the affair partner. Started minutes after she lifted me out of my rage. Again, I am defeated. Again, I confront. She says she's drowning in anxiety and having panic attacks and cannot think. I allow for a trial separation. There are a few stipulations, but in the end, I'm left with kids and all the housework. She helps with babysitting during my 12-hour shifts. I feel she's also rejecting the kids along with myself. In 14 years, I'd never seen this kind of callousness from her. We went to therapy, but the therapist now wants to see just her alone, and she is balking. She's most likely pursuing her affair, but the agreement holds me back from interfering. Our interactions go from warm to cold. We are never uncivil, but our conversations are sad, venomous, or superficially light. They are not what I want them to be, and when we part, I'm always left feeling rejected. I should end it, but I love her, and my dream was to grow a family with her. I am, however, continuing to work on myself. In 2 months, I've shed 10 pounds and 2 belt notches. Lack of sleep, emotionally roiled guts, and exercise have aided me here. I've been reading voraciously and attempting to overcome my sometimes crippling social anxiety. I've also been teaching the kids to become more mindful and have less meltdowns. They were a major source of our anxiety. I've been keeping a journal and attempting meditation. 50-50, I do these things for me and for us. I don't think my emotions are driving me anymore, but my dream seems to be compelling me towards reconciliation. It may not be possible, but I'm afraid to dismiss it for the sake of my children. Thoughts? Final update. I, 39 male, know that I am angry and my judgment may be compromised, but when I get cold and logical, I still think I should. I have held this secret from all but my parents by simply not bringing it up. She, 33 female, has followed the Cheater's Handbook quite faithfully as I know it from this subreddit. Her only defense to my threat of exposure is that the children will resent her. I told her I would not lie to them. I am over the shame of being cheated on. On one hand, I could care less how it affects her. But on the other, I do not want to emotionally harm my children or damage any custody battle that may come up. What are your thoughts? She needs to face the consequences. Her affair needs to be revealed. If the affair partner is married, reveal his affair to his wife. Inform her relatives and acquaintances. The affair loses its thrill and allure once it's public knowledge. By permitting a separation, you've granted her complete access to her affair partner. She can screw her AP for as long as she likes and come back into her marriage as if nothing happened. Do not let her do that. Do not let her emasculate you. Initiate the divorce. It'll help her come out of the fog. Now for some comments. Buddy, this trial separation just gave your wife free rein to screw this guy with no consequences. I hope you made one of the stipulations to be no sex with anyone else, but I feel like she will continue to have sex with this guy no matter what. You need to do what's right for you and your kids' future. Your relationship with your wife will never be the same, and I hope you found the courage to end it sooner rather than later. Yes, you have 14 years of marriage with her, but she chose to throw that all down the drain for her AP. Don't make the mistake so many people make on here. You'll lose more years thinking that it'll work out. You deserve better. Kids are better off with divorced parents than in a broken two-parent home where emotional tension is at an all-time high. They'd be better off with a father who's happy and maybe even with someone else who makes him happy instead of with a mom who rejects her family and a father who's upset and resents the mother. I say get out for you and your kids and try to move on. But I wish you the best of luck with whatever decision you make. This is a really tough situation to be in, and I'm sorry you're in it.